Hi and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at a method for erasing a background on the fly. Now I know there are squillions of ways of doing it. We can pick the Magic Wand tool or the Quick Selection tool. Now I'm not saying this is much better than any other method, but it might be. Each tool has its own strengths and weaknesses, and what I like are options. So instead of persevering with a tool that's okay at doing a job, maybe there's a tool that those particular circumstances can do it better. So enter the background eraser tool. Now let's crack on and see how it works. My name is Ken Fisher and this is LiveLink Training. Okay, here we are, starting with an image I took along the Champs-Élysées in Paris, looking towards the Arc de Triomphe. And here I think, that sky looks a bit bland, and it was. I'd like to change it, so I'm going to try and erase it. And I'm going to use the background eraser tool. Now, here it is in the toolbox. If we click and hold on the eraser tool, we get the eraser tool, the background eraser tool, and the magic eraser tool. We're going to choose the background eraser tool. Now first thing we need to do here is change the background to a layer. So I'm going to click on the padlock to unlock it. And then the second thing I'm going to do is to just go to the history panel, and we're just going to, where we've made a new layer here, which we've just done from the background layer, I'm just going to click in this little box here and it puts the history brush symbol in here. Now this will be made clear a little bit later on in the video what we're going to use this for. So I'm going to switch back to my layers panel. Now let's just go through a few options. First one is obviously the brush size, and if we click this little down arrow we can change the size, the hardness and the spacing. Hardness, well, yeah, let's put that quite high. And then the size we can change easier with the square bracket tool. Next one along, these three symbols, these are the way that this tool samples. And the first one is sampling continuously as you go. The second one is sampling once, so you click once and then that's what it's looking for, that colour. Or we can actually choose a colour and put that in as the background swatch. Now these two are fairly, well, I don't use them that much. This one is the one that I use a lot, because if I click and I want to be able to move, I want to be able to click somewhere else if I decide there's a change in colour or tone. Now the limits, we've got discontiguous, contiguous and find edges. These are the same in other Photoshop tools. The contiguous, it'll only select pixels if they're connected to the pixels that you're trying to select. Discontiguous will go anywhere into the image. Now we've got some edges here where we want to be able to go inside this boundary. So I'm going to click and set that to discontiguous. And then the tolerance value is basically how big a range outside where you click do you want to find the pixels, and select them. And this is factory set for 50%, and I'll just leave it there. And then we've got a protect foreground colour box. And I'll just switch that off for the moment. We'll be using that a little bit later in the video. Now the tool works by analysing the pixel under the mouse. So basically in that little cross that's in the middle of the cursor there, that's where it's going to sample. So I'm going to click down and I'm holding my finger on the mouse button. And now what that's done is that's erasing everything under that tolerance value of 50%. And it looks pretty good to me. And then if I keep my finger on the mouse button, I can erase lots of other people, and I just keep going and erasing. Now this is a fairly bland blue sky, so it's not going to be terribly difficult to select most of it. And we can get round there, and I'll just leave a blob there. And that looks not bad. That looks pretty cool, and that's been pretty simple. But the magic of the tool happens really at the edges, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit with Control and Plus. And then I'm going to spacebar drag. I'm holding my finger on the spacebar and I'm dragging with the mouse to get to this end here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into the blue area of the sky, and I'm going to click And that's going to erase that sky, but you can see it's not actually erasing anything else. So I can now go into here and erase anything through these little peepy bits that's peeping through. Or I can go along this edge and erase that. And then I'll spacebar drag again. And then again, I've let go of the mouse button, and then I'll resample by clicking in the middle there and taking anything from around here. And this is looking pretty good. And I'll go around this bit, that's looking pretty good as well. And down here, but you must click in a blue part first. If you click here, it won't work because it's your sample point is in transparency. So you click and then drag. Now I want to show you a couple of areas where it can go a little bit wrong. And I'm going to just make my brush a little bit smaller and then zoom in a little bit on this edge here. Now here we can see that the clouds and the actual Arc de Triomphe itself, they're both fairly warm now. So we've moved away from the blue, and so there's going to be colours in this edge that fall within the sample range. So I'll just make that a bit smaller, and then I'll show you what I mean. So if I now click in here and then go and drag down this edge here, you'll see how it's doing a great job on the bushes here, but it's actually erased part of the Arc de Triomphe, which is not what we want. So what can we do about that? Well, I'll just press Ctrl Alt and Z just to take me back. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Alt key down, and my cursor will change to a little eyedropper. And I'm going to click to sample the colour of the Arc de Triomphe, basically. And that then goes into the foreground colour swatch down here. And now if I go up and tick protect foreground colour, if I now go in and try that again, so I can click and drag down here, but when I go up this side, it's actually protecting those tones. So I'll get rid of all this. And then we'll click in there and we'll go up a bit further and along the top. And I'll go into here, and now you can see another area here that has gone a little bit. It's actually erased part of it because there must have been some blue tones in there. And this is where you could go back and use that protect foreground colour. But just another little trick is to use the history panel. And we've now got the history brush targeting the first layer. So this is targeting the layer that we had when we started. So I can now go to the history brush and I can paint back those pixels pretty accurately. Okay, that's that one done. So we'll go back to my background eraser tool again. I'm going to spacebar drag, and then I'll see how we go down this side, and that's looking pretty good. It's protecting them tones, and then oh, look at this, we've got a problem with this blue building. Okay, let me just go back, and then we'll take a sample. So I'll hold the Alt key down and click in this blue, and then I'll try that again because we've got protect foreground colour on, so I can click and drag down this edge, go up there. That's pretty good. I know I've just got to soften that off a little bit, and then we go up there. And I don't think that's bad actually. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. And now I can get these areas, so I'm going to go click again and go up the edge of this bush line. Now again, I can probably see a problem happening here, so let's see if it does. I'll click in the blue, and yes, it erases this side. I'll just go up a bit further. Yeah, that's not bad actually on there. So on this side now, I could use the same trick again. I could go back to my history brush and paint back in those pixels. That looks pretty good. And now I'm going to go back to my background eraser, and I'm on my way again. And there, down, that's pretty good. So anything that's got that differs markedly from the sample point will not be affected. It's only when you get close that you need to use one of them little tricks. And this looks pretty good. I'm nearly at the other end. Let's try and get as much as we can. And we can make the brush bigger and do this any way you like. But another way you can do this to get rid of the last parts, let's just go back to full screen by double clicking on the hand tool. If you've got any areas, what you can do is get some other tool. So let's say the lasso tool in subtract from selection mode. And then you can just draw around nice and steady the bits that you want to get rid of. And then hit the delete key or the backspace key. And we've got a big bit up here, so we'll get rid of that as well. And I don't think we've quite got it into that corner, have we? No. So Control and D, let's zoom in on that a little bit more. And then spacebar drag. Get right to that. I've missed a bit up that corner. Okay, so I'm going back to my background eraser tool, click in and get rid of all these bits here. Now there may be some bits left because there's areas that might be a little bit shady because it's not selected all the pixels. And we'll see that in a minute. I'll see what kind of job that is. I don't think that's bad. So I'm going to leave it at that. And then I'll try another sky. We'll see if we can get this one into the image. So I'm going to drag it over and bring it back and let it go. And then we'll drag it up and see if that covers. Now in the layer panel, you can see it's on the top now. So I'll drag that underneath. And well, I don't think that's bad actually. Oh, I've missed a bit in the middle there. Okay, so I'm going back to my background eraser and I'll sample in the middle. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer. You never said, did you? You never said. Right, so I'm going to sample in there and just take all that out. Oh, and I've actually deleted a bit of that. Okay, let's go back a couple of bits. So edit and step backward. Edit and step backward. And let's go back another couple of times to get rid of that. That should be okay. Then we click on the layer that we want. And background eraser tool, sample. And then I should be able to do that quite accurately now and paint out all those pixels. That's pretty cool. I am liking that. I do like that. And you can actually move the sky about if you've got plenty time to move it around. You can see there. And I'll just shift it over a little bit because I quite like that a little bit better. Right, well that's it for the background eraser tool. I can't tell you it's better in all circumstances, but it's certainly worth having in your selection armoury. Now I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment under the video. And please click on that subscribe button and help me grow my Photoshop learning community. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.